The following program contains names, places, and events that have been anonymized or fictionalized for the purposes of protection and safety. The following program is provided for entertainment purposes only, and any commentary from the hosts are strictly conjecture and should not be held as making any definitive statements about the truth or identity of any particular individuals or circumstances. If you or a loved one are involved in an abusive relationship, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 for support.
Hi, happy Monday. It's
We're
Dating
back.
Detectives time.
Part 2, y'all. We're ready.
Listen, first of all, if you didn't listen to part 1, go listen to it and then come back to this one, because otherwise you will be very sad.
And confused.
And a lot confused. Thank you. Very, very much confused.
So we're picking back up with Harper's story. We'll give you a little recap and then we'll jump in. Harper is a farm girl, grew up on the farm, family has a farm. She works afar. I want to say what she does specifically, but I don't really know anything about farming. But I know she raises the cattle and the sheep and she just does all the things. We learned a lot about farming. So Harper starts dating this other rancher man who kind of moves in a little too quickly. But
a lot quick.
Yeah. And he's also 9 years older. She's 22, I think.
Yeah.
She's young. He moves in. Everything is beautiful, hunky-dory, except that he's asking to borrow money, right? He kind of was
but they're
spot me.
fiancés. So it's
Yeah.
you're in this point, and so that's really tricky.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We'll learn a little bit more in this episode. And also keep in mind that his daughter had moved in with him kind of part-time. He got kind of part custody or whatever. And so the visitation...
Her name's Taylor, right?
Yeah, Taylor. And so so this is, it gets sticky, it gets tricky. And also there's some disclaimers. Hannah, share the disclaimers.
Well, one, obviously there's a lot of health stuff that it ended, the big cliffhanger. She has amnesia after an accident on a horse and goes through many months of not being able to remember what happened yesterday. Her memory resets to before the accident. She gets married and doesn't remember the wedding. So that's where she's at when we come into this. And the story gets tough. There's definite abuse and some depression and suicide discussion, rape. And then we really want to stress a miscarriage, unwanted miscarriage, because it's really a tough story. And if that is something that is hard for you, we totally understand and just want you to either be prepared or choose whether or not it's a story for you.
Really, really tough topic.
And if you don't choose to listen, but you want to know the ending, just DM us. We'll tell you. I mean, we get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We'll give you the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah, but we love you all. And these stories are so important, even when they're difficult. And she's awesome and doing well. I have to remind myself that as I hear these, I'm always she's doing okay. She's doing okay now. That's why she's here. She's doing okay now.
Yeah, and just the bravery and the courage to tell this story is, I'm so proud of her. I can't wait to hear more from her. And just real quick, you guys, I want to tell you before we get into this story, we got an exciting email from a dude about, it was a catfish story. It wasn't exactly a dogfish thing, but it was a catfish story. But a guy actually found the courage to write into us. And so on Wednesday, we're going to talk about that on the Patreon. And so you'll want to listen to that. So make sure that you sign up for the Patreon. It's only $5 a month. So sign up for the Patreon. You can find the link in the Cliff's Notes, in the show notes. And yeah, go sign up for the Patreon. You get 2 bonus episodes a month, but you have to hear his story.
Speaking of Patreon and dudes, Megara, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is a Patreon listener. And we want to give a shout out to Megara's 2 guy friends, because she said she has 2 guy friends who have dogfish stories, but they don't want to share because they're convinced that no one will care. Girl, let them know. Play this for them. We care. We are here for you. You are not alone. There are other men who have talked about this and have expressed the same kind of insecurity and feeling like they're dumb or weak or whatever, which we all feel that way when something like this happens, but we get it. It doesn't feel manly or whatever, but that's not even a thing. Just, we are so here for you, and you could help so many people if you want.
That's what I was going to say, is that if you share your story, you just never know who you could impact or who you could help. So please, if you feel so inclined, please know that we will provide a voice for you or a platform. And we really do want to share your story. Like they're interesting. And it's like, holy crap, like you can't believe this stuff happens. But also your story is just as important. And we want it to be more like, we want this to be very,
diverse
for anybody. So allow us to be that platform and that voice for you. So anyways, let's hear more from Harper. Let's get into it. We need to, you guys just listen.
So I hit my head in August, and essentially 6 months later, I finally wake up from this haze of my brain injury, and I am in a living nightmare. For the last 6 months, my now husband has been acting to my friends and family like he's taking care of me and taking me to doctor's appointments and handling all the finances. And on the outside, it looked like he was really my savior. What was really going on behind closed doors was not that, but because of my brain injury, I didn't know what was going on and I couldn't stop him. It was a very confusing time. I could kind of remember like he wasn't around, and then all of a sudden he would tell me that he was around, that I didn't remember right. I would look back at text messages and go, well, this is what you said. And it's like, nope, you're crazy. You're imagining it. I would look back at like phone calls at like 2 a.m. where I would be calling him going, where are you? I'm home by myself, especially with a toddler. And he, no, don't you remember? I was home. I was just sleeping on the couch. Really confusing time. And I just didn't know up from down. I didn't know what was real, what was a dream, what was reality at that point.
And you said Ryan's not very attentive during doctor's appointments. You kind of
he's kind of on the phone. I mean,
like, what's his vibe? I mean, you don't remember from your own account.
As far as I can kind of piece together, like the little tidbits I get, he's just kind of aloof.
Okay, so not really, yeah.
So he wasn't super helpful. He didn't step up.
He's there. He's like, look, I drove you here. I'm paying attention. But it's like, you're sitting on your phone.
It wasn't like when Tommy broke his foot. He wasn't like, oh my gosh, I need to be there.
This isn't a big issue, obviously. So now we're getting into like spring of 2016, right? And I've still got lambs. I'm still out in the barn. My parents are helping me a ton with doing chores. I'm now a little bit more active, trying to get out.
But you still don't remember nothing.
I can remember now a little bit more.
Okay.
Like, I definitely have bigger pieces of memory.
Sure.
So, lambing season. So, I, deal with my babies, get them on the ground, and I sell them at 2 months old. And so, I ended up with like $3,000 or something like that in cash. And I made a comment of, I need to run it to the bank. And my bank is 25 minutes away.
Okay.
And so, Ryan's like, don't worry, I'll go take it into the bank so you don't have to drive. You seem like you're kind of getting a headache and you're out of it. Don't worry about it. I'll go take it in.
Let me take care of that for you.
Yeah, like 6 o'clock at night. And he's like, I can just go run into the ATM. Not a big deal.
Oh, no.
Like, okay.
I don't like
sure.
It.
Like I can do it tomorrow. Whatever. Not a big deal. He's like, no. I'll do it. Not a big deal. I'll take care of it. Well, he doesn't come home for like 3 or 4 hours.
What? 3 or 4 hours? Good grief.
He's not answering his phone. I'm sitting here worrying.
So you're freaking out.
Yeah, freaking out just a little bit. Like, this should have only taken you an hour. I mean, 25 minutes there, deposit it in the bank, 25 minutes back. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
He comes back in and he is like pissed off and he's crying. I'm like, what is going on? He's like, I lost it.
You lost what?
What are you talking about? He's like, yep, I got a hole in my pocket, and he's like pulling his pockets out of his jeans.
I got a hole in my pocket. Oh boy.
He's like, I got a hole in my pocket. It fell out of my pocket. The first ATM I went to did not work. And I was like, what are you talking about?
This is a new one. This is a new excuse on the Daily Detectives.
And he did. He had a hole in his pocket, and he's like,
I
am so sorry.
Ate my homework.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Literally.
that was $3,000. What are you talking about? You just lost it. Did you ask anybody? He's like, yeah, I went into the Walmart to use that ATM there, and I must have dropped it somewhere. I have no idea where it is. And I'm like, well, did you talk to any of the employees? Like,
no one
anybody
noticed $3,000. I mean, maybe someone would take it.
I mean, most people are going to pick it up and probably try and return it.
How big is his hole in his pants? You know how big $3,000 is in a wad? Lord Jesus.
And so I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's all our bill money. I just made all this money. So he loses this money. I end up just like, it's okay. You know, shit happens. Lord will find a way.
Well, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, like, what are you supposed to do? So, okay, sorry that happened. Benefit of the doubt, it sounds like.
He's like, oh my gosh, you can leave me. I'm so sorry. And it's like, I'm not going to leave you over a mistake.
Plus, where's your memory at this point?
I can remember a good amount of things at this point.
Okay.
I'm still having emotional roller coasters. If I'm really tired or really just drained, my memory is shot.
Wow. So it's fragile, basically.
Very much so. So this is like my energy levels I have to be really careful about, because when my energy is depleted, my brain is fried. Sure. I am tired. I need to go to bed. I have migraine-like headaches every day at this point. And so
that is not fun.
No, I mean, I'm running on a level of like a 4 to an 8 any given time.
Bless it.
Pain level. And so, you know, at the extreme, I need to go to bed and I need to just recharge. I can't remember stuff. I don't know what's going on. My emotions are all over the place. I'll act like a little toddler throwing a fit who needs to go to bed. And so I just let it go because I'm exhausted. I'm constantly being nagged at for being lazy. And ew. I'm not doing enough around the house. And I'm required to like cook for him and clean and take care of Taylor and
beg pardon?
Do all these things. And I'm like, she's not my kid. Like, I admit that, you know, she's now my bonus kid. Love her to death.
Right.
But she's also not my full responsibility here.
No.
So as I was trying to recover and trying to be able to do more, I was constantly criticized because the house wasn't clean enough for him. It felt like a never-ending nightmare.
Did he use like your injury
against you
at all? I mean, was there any part of him that was like, get over it?
Oh yeah.
Kind of
no,
thing?
He would tell me I'm faking it. He would call me crazy for having my little emotional breakdowns or, you know, essentially not being able to control my emotions. And then if I ever brought it up to him, he'd go, I never said that, honey. That's all in your head.
You don't have a good
gaslighting.
memory.
Oh my God.
You're remembering it wrong. That must be in your head.
And you don't trust. Did you trust him because you are like, yeah, I don't remember a lot.
Are you sure? Like, I remember. He's like, no, you must have dreamed it, or your head's playing tricks on you, or
oh my God,
I would never do that to you. I love you. And, you know, and I'm letting him take care of our finances because, like, I'm kind of out of it still. Like, we have a joint bank account. You take care of our finances.
Just don't patch up the holes in your pockets
right?
and do the finances.
Well, and this is spring of 2016. Hemp becomes legal. And so my dad ends up deciding to grow hemp. I mean, why not? It's another farm crop, right? And so especially if it has a high dollar yield, then let's see if we can make something before the market's saturated. And so Ryan was all about this. He's like, okay, nope, I'm going to go get investors because it's big money in order to get bigger money out.
And at the time, your parents still like him? Like they want him to be a part of this?
Oh, absolutely. He was a chameleon. He was absolutely a chameleon. He would mimic everyone else's behaviors. And so depending on different social groups, he was a different little version of himself in order to placate these people and in order to be the perfect, smooth guy. I mean, and this is how my grandparents loved him. My family loved him for a while. I mean, everyone believed him. Everyone was okay with him.
Do you get airport anxiety? Because I definitely do. I will say packing makes it easier when I have good luggage, and I've been obsessed with Base, and I've wanted Base bags for a long time, and now we get to talk about them. But, constantly checking your pockets for your ID and your passport and forgetting the gate number and all the stuff, it just adds to stress.
So much anxiety. I can't stand it. So much anxiety.
So you need to arm yourself with the right stuff that helps you stay calm. I know it sounds silly, but like it makes such a difference to feel like, oh my God, my bag is amazing. My suitcase is amazing. And I'm also cute. So Base has so many great stuff. I have, what's the name of the tote bag? I have the Weekender bag, which is like the best travel, like tote type carry-on that I've
size.
Ever had. Yeah. Like the storage thing on the bottom is so smart.
Oh, like for your shoes. Y'all know me and my shoes.
Shoes, hats. Like I've used it for, you don't even realize the stuff that you're like, oh, I'm not bringing that because I don't know where to put it. But if, how you have cute hats that you're like, I can't travel with that because it's going to get smushed. Well, you got a spot for it. It also goes on the back of your suitcase handle. But if you're not putting it on the back of your suitcase handle, you can zip it up and it becomes a pocket. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to drop the name, but I had another bag from another brand that was similar and they did not do that. And I kept dropping my phone because I thought it was a pocket. So Base is smart for doing that.
They have the one that I like is they have the what's it called? The sport sling or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like the belt bag,
that.
like the crossbody. Yeah. And that one is so cute. I love the shape of it.
So cute. And they also have luggage, great suitcases, backpacks, accessories for your travel. They're just really good quality luggage. Every piece is made to look better with miles. So you don't have to worry about it. Like if it's going overhead or in cargo, it's like very long lasting, good quality stuff. A lot of sizes, a lot of colors. They got pink. If you like dating detectives, you might like pink. And yeah, quick trip or long-term stuff. They have everything and they're really, really good. Let us know if you try anything because Base is my new fave travel brand. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/TDD. Go to basetravel.com/TDD for 15% off your first purchase. That's BEIS travel.com/TDD. Thanks, Shay Mitchell. Love you, girl. It is so nice to get your groceries delivered, isn't it?
Especially because I'm lazy.
I was going to say because you're busy and have so much going on.
And that's what I had said. Yes, because I'm busy.
But I also love having pre-made meals or meals that are very easy for me, that are healthy, that are not going to make me waste ingredients. I don't want to go to the store and buy something that I don't even know how to pronounce it and I'm never going to use it any other time. That's why I really like Hungry Roots. We've talked about them before and I'm excited that we get to talk about them more. It kind of feels like the perfect combo of grocery delivery and also like recipe guided ordering. You know what I mean? Like the
but
meal,
like
healthy.
Prep. It's the easiest way to eat healthy because they send you like the fresh, high quality groceries, like the good stuff, like the stuff. You know how they say you're supposed to shop the perimeter of the grocery store? It's like that stuff. It's simple recipes, essential supplements. It's literally like a personal assistant for healthy living.
Yeah, it's cool because you fill out your form, anything that you want to do, keto, veggie, whatever you're focusing on. And they recommend meals for you, recommend recipes, and recommend products that they sell that are individual groceries as well. But then it's a point system. So if you wanted to switch something out, say you see like a 2-point thing, Brussels sprouts, and you're like, nah, I'm not a Brussels sprouts girly. But you see other things that are 2 points, you can switch them. Even the recipes, you could switch the protein, you could switch the vegetables. Like it was like creamy chicken and bell pepper Alfredo. And I wanted to like switch up some of the veggies that they had in there. And it was just so easy to do. And it doesn't like change the recipe.
Yeah. And it's really good. The customization is really great, especially if you're a little bit picky, but you can be picky because it's literally customized to you. And they even have healthy snacks and smoothies and sweets. They have kids snacks and meals, but everything from Hungry Root follows a simple standard. It's got to taste good, be quick to make, and contain whole, trusted ingredients, just like shopping the perimeter of the grocery store.
I really like the system. I really think it's a good combo of the meal delivery and the grocery selection.
Right now, Hungry Root is offering the Dating Detectives listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/TDD to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/TDD. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you.
So my dad was happy and just, yeah, if you can find some investors, I mean, we definitely need money in order to like buy sprinklers, in order to do this, in order to do
He
this.
can't hold on to $3,000 in his pocket. You think investors are going to give him a crap ton of money? He's out of his mind.
Investors will give any charismatic man lots of money. They don't have to have a plan.
And that's pretty much it. Is my dad has got 100 acres he's putting in. And so he's got all the proof and all the knowledge, and he's been doing the research. And Ryan's going off of this and offering these people 50% return on their money.
That's high. That sounds high. Yeah.
Oh, that's super high.
That sounds a little unreasonable.
Okay, Ryan, let's see. And is he saying this on behalf of your dad? So he's getting your family involved.
On behalf of like him and I and my dad. And like actually my grandfather, because it's all kind of a family affair, right? And he ends up getting about $50,000 from different people.
I hope he wasn't wearing the same pants.
Oh man, yeah. Well, it's coming into my bank account.
Okay, and fair.
And so it's kind of coming in, trickling in at times. But I'd look at the bank account and it's like, where'd all the money go?
Wait, what? What do you mean? Where did all it's not staying in the bank account?
No. So like a couple of $1,000s would come in, and then all of a sudden it would go away in $100 increments. And I would look at him like, where's all the money going?
He's like, laundering it.
There was an ATM glitch. I'll figure it out. But the ATM glitched. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What?
He's like, yeah.
Did the statement just say a withdrawal, or did it like, was it going did it say
It
anything?
said ATM withdrawal, and then like $100. And I don't really use the ATM to ever withdraw anything because I just go to my bank. And he's like, yep, sometimes they glitch, like it just happens, right? And I'm like, what? How does this just happen?
And only for you and no one else.
Yeah, personally, I've never even heard of it happening at all. But then again, it being like that much money consistently.
Right. And it's like,
what?
Wouldn't you be upset if we're just losing hundreds of dollars? Like $1,000 just came out of the bank account in a weekend. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, trying to trust him. And he's just, berating me for not.
This probably takes a lot of spoonfuls of energy. For you.
Oh, man. Totally.
Yeah. Now looking back at it now, it is definitely not a believable situation. And so when the money was disappearing, I fully thought that there was something wrong, that, he'd been caught by a scammer or something, whether there was like a card reader stuck in our ATM and that somebody was able to get that information. There was just something wrong. And I was really frustrated at the time, but I was so frustrated and so confused. I could have the conversation 3 days a week, but I would only think maybe we had it once. And then other times it was, well, I took money out so that I could buy all the employees that we were working with lunch. And your dad will reimburse me. Don't worry about it. Or, one of the times he said, I had to meet with your family's mechanics and pay them off and pay them a bonus out of my pocket so that they wouldn't quit on your family. And it's just really odd situations, but always don't talk to your family. This is our private business. This is, between you and I as a husband and wife. And, don't worry, honey, I'll fix it. Don't worry. We're going to make some money when all this hemp is dealt with. We'll make it through. Just trust me, or just have faith in me. So, anytime I'm having to like confront him and do all this, it's hard. It's taken all my energy. I'm already dealing with a 2-year-old who's not mine. Because he's making me essentially be a stay-at-home mom. He's out of the house a lot at this time because he's out looking for investors, and he's, back up in Colorado and looking for hemp people and all this stuff. And so sometimes he would come down back to our place, pick up Taylor, drop her off with me, maybe spend the night, and then he'd be gone for the week, and then come back only to drop her back off with Rachel.
What?
So he'd be gone for the whole week. And he's like, oh, I gotta work. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But now our bank account hardly has any money in it, ever.
Yeah, you're like, work where?
Yeah.
Work how? You're not making any money.
Where the money? Show me the money, Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. There were times where there would be less than $5 in our bank account, and I would actually have to skip a meal in order to make sure that I kept Taylor fed.
Damn. Wow.
Because he is out of town. He's working on investments. He's working on this hemp stuff. And yet we've got investment money coming in. And what little money I'm getting from workers' comp is what's kind of keeping us afloat.
Oh my goodness.
And then there would just be random times where, it feels like I am just a housemate. At this point, I feel like I am just there to take care of Taylor. I am there to put food on the table, and I am there to keep the house clean and take care of all the livestock when he's gone all the time.
I don't like that.
And it just, it feels gross. I mean, don't really have a connection to him. I'm praying all the time. I'm reading self-help books. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is wrong.
How do I get my life back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what the heck is wrong? I am essentially waking up in hell because now I have my memory for the most part. And I'm married to this guy. And the abuse is just escalating. I got the emotional abuse of like the roller coaster of, I wouldn't get a hug and a kiss or a hello if I pissed him off. I would get called names, told how stupid I was, told how lazy I was, all these things. There was definitely sexual abuse where, it's one of those things where I just wasn't allowed to say no. And so just kind of endured it and like, okay, well, at least this is a little bit of attention or a little bit of affection. But I found myself actually so upset and in tears, like every time we were intimate, because there was no connection. There was no emotional response on the other end. And it just felt like I was being used the entire time. And so trying to make everything work, I get really depressed at this time. I'm dealing with depression really bad because I am really hating on myself. I'm not as active as I used to be. I'm obviously in a really shitty situation that I don't know how to get out of, but I don't know how to fix.
Right.
Yeah.
He's isolating me from my family. He's telling me my family is starting drama and I need to spend more time at home and I need to not talk about our relationship issues to my family.
He's isolating.
Yep. Super isolating. And so I spend a lot of time at home alone. And me and my best friend, she's stationed up in Alaska at this time because she's up on an Air Force base. Like I can kind of call her, but she's also super busy, different hours. It's just miserable, right? And he's going out at night sometimes and he's like, no, I'm just going to go get a drink or something at the bar. Or he would get mad at me and he would not talk to me all night or text me all night. And he would just show up at any given time he wanted. Sometimes at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
What?
And so it's like, the bar closed 2 hours ago. Oh, yeah, well, I went and hung out with a friend.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Or just, it's none of your business. You don't need to know what I'm doing. It's like, you're my husband. Why aren't you home at night?
Yeah, where are you at 3 a.m., sir?
But it sounds like he has also this pattern of gaslighting and then getting rageful toward you, which I could imagine makes it even harder to confront him.
Absolutely.
Your energy and then that fear, you're just like paralyzed. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It actually would get to the point like I wasn't allowed to even lock the bathroom door, so I would take a shower or something. Yeah, I would be in the shower, and this was always like my space or my place where I could decompress and just relax, kind of Yeah,
Me
it's
time.
me time. He would rip the shower curtain open.
Why?
Just to yell at me.
What?
Wait.
For what?
Anything. I mean, anything. It could be that I didn't iron his jeans right or whatever.
This fella got some damn nerve.
And he would yell at you for having the door
Yeah.
locked?
Because he needed to come in and talk
That
to
is
me.
so
Mm-mm.
abusive.
I mean, it got to the point where I actually had to deal with the PTSD of taking a shower because I was always afraid my shower curtain would be ripped open.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing a therapist. I'm dealing with horrible depression to the point where he would even tell me if I just, I don't know if I can do this anymore. He's like, well, Taylor and I are going to be homeless if you ever leave me.
Oh, God, manipulation. Oh, my
Oh.
God. He's a walking red flag.
Oh yeah, no, like we're going to be homeless. Like, you're the
Now you
you're
feel
the
guilty.
love of my life.
Mhm.
Like this poor little girl.
And I'm sure you love her at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh, I adore her.
Mhm.
Love this little girl. Oh my gosh, like still to this day, she is my bonus kid. And so like
That love doesn't go away.
no, it doesn't go away. And I mean, I still love her as much as my own biological children. Like
Mhm.
she is my kid. And so yeah, just all the manipulation. I mean, he had me convinced half of it was in my head. I really didn't know what reality was. I felt so insane. I felt so crazy. So in August, I actually ended up getting pregnant and I was super excited. Like, oh my gosh, maybe he'll love me if, we're starting a family.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh, that's so, I mean, it's great that like babies are great, like having a baby. And that's something you should be like so excited about. And then just to feel like,
That's a hard feeling of hoping it
Yeah.
will save it.
Yep. And that's it. I'm devoted to this marriage. I can't get
Yeah.
a divorce.
How does your family look at this point? Like, are they encouraging you to stay married or?
Like I said, I'm very much isolated from them at this point. Like I don't really want to divulge a ton of information or a ton of issues with them because I'm going to go home and get yelled at for trying to talk to my family.
yeah.
And
Oh man. And I imagine even if you said a little bit, it would be easy for people to be like, well, you've been through so much this last year. Of course it's
Right.
stressful.
and that's kind of it.
Like, of course he's having a hard time.
And I'm not even allowed to go to town, our small little town by myself at this point. Like Ryan's like, no, like just I'll take you to the coffee shop. Or
Did you guys hear that? Not allowed.
Yep. I wasn't
Crazy.
allowed because who knew who I was going to run into
Mm-mm.
and talk to. And he wanted to protect me from that.
Yeah, he frames it, of course, that way. And you're fragile and you need me.
Yeah, right. So at this point, I'm pregnant.
Wow.
He ends up bringing me a coffee that day. And I remember it just vivid out of the blue because he hadn't done anything super nice for me like this in a while. And I miscarried. I miscarried within an hour of getting that coffee.
Are you serious?
I did. And so
No.
yeah.
Fuck him. Did he do that? Fuck him. What?
Wait, how? Wait.
So, I mean, it'll all come back around, but I end up going home and like I'm miscarrying over the weekend.
I am so sorry. Oh my God.
And it was awful. Like I was crushed. I'm already dealing with depression on top of this. The first day he's like, oh my gosh, do you need anything from me? I love you so much. And by the second day where I'm still in bed, I'm still horribly cramping. This is awful. I don't really want to go to the doctor and admit like, my body's failing me. I'll just call my OB on Monday and just deal with it then.
Yeah.
And no, the second day he tells me I need to get over myself. And he's like, I can have a child with Rachel when she didn't even want children. And yet you are my wife and you want children. How incompetent are you? You are broken. You are awful. And just all the horrible, nasty things.
Thank you for sharing this part of the story.
No, I mean, it's an important part. It was
But you're talking about like the shame around it, and then him, because I think you said like your body was failing you, which I know a lot of people have echoed, and that's, nobody knows it until they go through it. And I think his response to it, on top of just that experience alone, adding to that shame.
Yeah, no, it was awful. Like I felt
very hard to
horrible.
hear.
And at this point, after I miscarried, he stopped touching me. Like no kisses, no hugs, nothing for months. No more physical contact. And I felt so alone and so isolated. It's like, what have I done? To the point where it's like, am I just not attractive to you? Like, what's going on?
And that's our very first thought is it's us. There's something wrong with me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with me that you're married to me for a year and you want nothing to do with me? Like, all I am doing is taking care of Taylor. All I'm doing is taking care of livestock and sitting here by myself. And so, yeah, I mean, this is kind of the beginning of the end, really, is just, it's struggle.
You guys, it's summertime. I love summertime because the sunshine, and I'm in Florida. The sun is hotter than ever and I love it. So we're saying goodbye to the jackets and the sweaters, and we're bringing in shorts and t-shirts, which is my uniform. And you have a really good option for updating your wardrobe for summer without spending a fortune with Quince. So I found Quince, and I love bright, super bright, bold colors, but Quince is very more like, not muted, but like more neutral and more basics. And so I love that they offer a bunch of basics that I can pair with the bright colors I already have in my wardrobe. They have literally the best clothes that'll go with anything. So when you're thinking basics, think of tanks and light dresses, and those wide leg pants that you can wear. They're like pull on and they're really comfortable, but you can dress them up or down. I love the European linen, like wide leg pants. They have the cutest things. They even have jewelry. I love jewelry. I'm obsessed with jewelry, and they have muscle tanks, and they even have bags, and they have undies and socks. They literally have anything for anyone, and it's all the basics that everyone needs. So you have to check out Quince. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and basically just passes the savings on to the consumer. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which I love. And I even found, I got my friend a gift. They had this really beautiful tan like cotton throw blanket, and it was gorgeous, and it looks perfect on her little blanket ladder in her living room. So it's great for gifting, and I'm so excited for all the new pieces like shorts. They have these really great stretch chinos. And also, as someone who is a plus size girl, I love that they cater to plus sizes, and you can literally find pretty much anything. If you're looking for some great basics, you have to go check out Quince. Get warm weather ready with Quince. Go to quince.com/TDD for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/TDD to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TDD. Oh, and they even have shoes.
Okay, this Dipsy ad is going to reveal how much of a nerd I am. Please bear with me. Don't judge me. I just finished reading a romance book-ish. I don't know if I'd call it a book. That was fan fiction. And I've never once been in the fan fiction world. I read a very beautiful romance that's a Harry Potter fan fiction. And guys, it's maybe one of my favorite books, which is insane because it's written by a random person online who nobody knows the identity of. It was spicy, but it was beautiful. It's called All the Young Dudes. And if anyone has read it, you have to talk to me about it. So, point being, when I finished it, I felt like there was a void that I needed to fill. And thank goodness I have Dipsy. This app is one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorites for a really long time because I think it's amazing and so good for the world. It's an app full of hundreds of short, spicy audio stories. And no matter what you're into, whether you're a nerd like me and you want some fantasy series, because they've got werewolves, they've got Greek gods, they've got Regency era historical fiction, fairy smut. If you liked Court of Thorns and Roses, they've got that vibe. But they also just have like, crushing on the teacher, the boss, enemies to lovers, chance encounters, friends becoming more, whatever story you want. It's kind of like listening to a million of your favorite spicy audiobooks, but in one place. And it's a growing library. They always have new stuff. And they don't just have stories. They have immersive soundscapes, realistic characters. I last night listened to, what did I listen to? It was like Rainy Cafe to fall asleep. And I loved it. They release stuff every week. And for me, it's like really good quality stories made by women for women, not just for women. They have any sexual orientation, any gender identity stories for you, and you can sort by that. I think it's a great place to explore your fantasies, to calm and relax yourself, to indulge in that kind of romantic getaway. It's just like this modern approach to romance through high quality, captivating audio fiction that I really love. There's wellness stuff too. They've got guides to self-touch, relaxing breath work, questions to ask with your partner. You can definitely listen with a partner. BDSM basics, texting basics, love languages, and more. It's just a really positive app. We're all about empowerment and wellness. And I think getting in touch with your sexy side is part of that. It's part of health and it's part of confidence. For listeners of the show, Dipsy's offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/TDD. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to DIPSEA stories.com/TDD. dipsystories.com/TDD. Honestly, I have so much fun.
At this point, I think I was on Facebook and I was scrolling around and I see that a woman tagged him in something. And so I scroll all the way down through all these little comments and I click on her name and her background picture is him, a little blonde girl, and her all posing together.
What?
And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
What did you say?
Who the hell's this? And I'm just so...
Did it look like recent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, why would this be your background photo? Like, it's not the profile picture, but it's the background picture.
Like the cover?
It's your cover picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of shaking, like my stomach drops. And I go out and I can't hardly think straight. I'm looking at him like, what is this? Oh my gosh, I'm not cheating on you. Like,
what?
That is my... Like, what? He's like, that's my mom's neighbor. I went up and saw her and she insisted she had to take a picture with me because we'd grown up together, whatever. I didn't know that she'd put that as her cover photo. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Fella. Okay.
And he like grabs my phone and all of a sudden she's gone. Like, and then he ends up calling. He's like, I'll call my mom and I'll tell her. And he calls this person that says mom and is like, oh my gosh, this crazy lady, blah, blah, blah. Like, your neighbor is nuts. She put this picture on her cover and this big, huge scene.
Yeah, that's not, it's like, wait, that's not the reaction.
Like, just trying to ask you what's going on.
That's very disproportionate.
And it's just this big dramatic scene. Like, I would never cheat on you. I love you so much. Okay. And I can't find the lady again. Like, I can't find the Facebook profile again because he's taken my phone.
Blocked. Oh my God.
I can't find it again. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll trust you, but what the heck? Like, that's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And at this point, a lot of time he's sleeping on the couch. He's not even sleeping in our bedroom. He's sleeping on the couch because he's up at all hours of the night.
Right.
Or then he'll just decide, he's like, I need a break today, so I'm going to sleep today and just sleep all day. Okay, this is really odd, but don't you need to go to work or don't you need to go help my family or
do something with your life?
Yeah, like, why am I the one sitting at home having to deal with you? He's really escalating the suicide thought of like, well, maybe things would be better if you weren't here, or maybe you're crazy and you need to go into a psych ward or something. So he's either trying to get me institutionalized or get me to kill myself.
Oh my God.
And, you're really not needed around here. No one really wants you anyway. You're just a burden on everybody. And that's what I heard a lot, is how much of a burden I was, and that somebody had to constantly take care of me. And so you put that on top of this crippling depression and this brain injury. And yeah, he was absolutely trying to force me to commit suicide. I mean, there was even one night where I got so depressed and I got so mad, and I'm like, look, then I'm just going to kill myself. You can get all my shit. I don't care. You can take my house. You can keep, my family will still support you. They're still going to be around for you because I'll just be out of your life. Whatever. Like,
So
grab a rifle to the point where, like, I am dead serious about this. He grabs it from me and laughs in my face and goes, "You're so stupid. You can't even kill yourself right."
Oh my God. That's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I go into the bedroom and he's coming down and just like screaming through the bedroom door, just screaming and yelling at me, going, "Oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Like, what do you think that you're going to do?" Just
oh my God.
berating me. I actually come out of the bedroom. In order to get past him, I end up clocking him right in the face, right hand hook, and then run out the door. I don't even think I've had shoes on. Run out the front door, drive to my parents' house. And I'm seriously debating driving off of a nearby cliff. But I end up stopping at my parents' house, which is just a mile down the road, and screaming at them because obviously I'm led to believe it's all their fault.
Right.
For also getting involved in my personal relationship. And I mean, I feel very unhinged at this point. I don't know what's up. I don't know.
Well, he's making you feel crazier than you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to deal with healing from a brain injury and then having all these crazy thoughts and emotions going through my head. And it's actually to the point where he doesn't call me. He doesn't text me that night, but he calls the sheriff's department to say, "I think my wife is going to commit suicide. I need you to do a suicide check." And so I end up talking to the sheriff, like, "Nope, I'll just stay here at my parents' house. Like, not a big deal." I think I stayed there that night and I was fine. Was able to actually calm back down. But again, this is, my brain injury. And when I get tired and when I get to these points, I got pushed over the edge.
Yeah.
And at this point, I tell my parents a little bit, like my brother and my dad are like, "There's something going on. Like, it's something getting weird here." The money issues are still happening, constantly still happening. Still is ATM glitch. I'm like, "Have you talked to the bank? Have you dealt with this? Like, we shouldn't be losing all this money." And he's like, "You're always just so obsessed with money. It's just like,
yeah, I'm trying to feed your daughter.
God.
Sorry.
I would like to eat sometime too."
Yeah.
I feel guilty when I want to go drive into town and get a coffee because I spent $4. Come on now. And so, yeah, he ends up picking this little fight right before Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it was something so minor that I was kind of appalled. Like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Yep, I'm going to take Taylor and we're going to go up to my mom's for Thanksgiving up in Colorado. Like, I'm going to drive 4.5 hours and go do Thanksgiving with my mom.
Because I'm mad about the way you ironed my shirt or something stupid.
You loaded the dishwasher wrong.
I mean, it's just like, I can't do anything right.
Oh.
And I mean, I feel less than the dogs at this point. Like, he comes home and greets the dogs.
Oh, I imagine.
He ends up taking her, going up Thanksgiving, and comes back. And my family even says, "Harper, do you realize that when he's away, you become more of yourself again?"
Wow. And I bet you didn't even realize it.
No. They're like, "You are so quiet and so reserved and so shut down when he's around. But if he's gone for a couple of days, especially if he's not talking to you, you kind of come back to us a little bit."
Blessing in disguise that he left for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Seems like you needed to be alone with them.
So at this point, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm kind of talking about divorce a little bit. And like
with him?
with him, like, hey,
Okay.
I don't know what else to do. I mean, we need to be done. I don't know what else to do anymore. And he's just like, well, let's just wait until the hemp pays out, because my cut's as soon as the hemp pays out, then, we can get $1 million essentially to split, because it's a, high cash crop.
Was he even contributing to the hemp crop?
He claims he is.
Okay. I don't believe him.
And then
but it's
wait, when he says we can split it, does he mean like this money will save our marriage? Or he's saying let's wait to get divorced until, I'm confused.
Let's wait to get divorced until after this money comes in.
That's weird. Wouldn't he not want to do that so he can
Right?
keep all
Like,
of the
what
money?
fuck, sir? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what?
he's like, well, it's your family, so we need to wait until.
But he's not saying, please don't divorce me. He's saying, okay.
Yeah, he's saying, okay, let's wait. And, at this point, like, I know that I took off my ring at some point, and I think I left it in his truck, but now he's locking his truck. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll find it at some point. I'm sure it's between my truck or like
The seat.
And both these trucks are mine. They're both registered in my name, and I paid for them. And he's just driving the newer of the two because, well, he thinks he deserves it.
Sure.
And so at one point, he, ends up getting in a fight with me, and he run around the corner, and he throws me up against the wall by my neck and like grabs me by the neck. And Taylor's in the room, and she's screaming and crying, and she goes and hides in a cardboard box that she had made a fort out of. She's three and a half at this point.
Oh my God.
And as he's got me up against the wall by the neck and just telling me, I mean, basically what a piece of shit I am and whatever. And I get away from him and I go to leave, and I'm putting on my shoes, and Taylor is screaming, crying, trying to run to me.
Oh,
And
no.
just wanting comforted. And he holds her by the shoulder and says, no, honey, Harper doesn't love us anymore. She doesn't want to be with us. And it broke me. Oh my gosh, it broke me. I think at that point I went to my parents. I had my dad pick me up. Like, I need out. And I said, do whatever you got to do. Find out what's going on. And they look into stuff, and I end up picking a fight with him for Christmas. I'm like, no, why don't you go back to your mom's for Christmas? That's fine. You can take Taylor and go back to your mom's for Christmas.
See ya.
Yeah, like I ended up essentially getting the space I needed. And this is when my parents, I gave them access to my bank accounts. I gave them access to all the phone records, and his phone, Ryan's phone, is on our family phone plan at this point. So they're looking at the numbers he's calling, and they're like, well, we can't just Google him. I said, type him into Facebook. A lot of people have their Facebook hooked up to their phone numbers. Immediately.
Got an armchair sleuth.
Bless it.
Immediately, that girl I had saw earlier comes up, I guess.
Damn right
And
she did, because you knew.
There are engagement photos taken with Taylor, her little blonde girl, my husband, during Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
There are engagement photos all over her Facebook profile.
Public?
Yeah, public.
So that would make me think she doesn't
Yeah,
know.
so my mom can see everything. And then they're finding other numbers from locals, other women local around here that he's calling and texting multiple times. So this one's up in Colorado. This is the 4.5 hours away that he's going to go see. And my dad and my brother actually stick trackers on both of my pickups.
Oh!
GPS trackers prior to this. And they can go all the way to her home address with my pickup.
Yeah.
Because they're both mine, so it's legal. And so they
Show enough is, y'all. Show enough is.
Yeah, and so they can see my pickup going to her house, and it's registered under her name. This gal who's got all the engagement pictures with him. And then my mom goes back and goes through all the accounting details and goes, Harper, do you understand that all these ATM withdrawals are coming out in bars and casinos?
Oh, busted.
She's
busted. Busted.
There is a week where he went to a casino up in Colorado during Father's Day weekend. So he didn't get Taylor during Father's Day because he was working, right?
Oh no.
He was quote unquote working.
$5,000 came out in a week in the casino. He has a huge gambling problem. $50,000 of investments came out of my bank account.
God.
In bars and casinos.
Oh my God. That is so much freaking money.
Yeah.
I have so many questions, but I want you to keep going because I'm like, he was in business with your parents. So how are they funding everything? What does he do about the investors? With these women? Keep going.
We've got women, we've got gambling. And so my parents are basically, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, if it was just gambling, I would see about trying to stay, but it's cheating too.
Yeah.
I'm done.
And I hope, and he's treating you like
and
dirt,
it's getting abusive,
which is hard to see in the moment.
It's getting really abusive. Like, I can't do this anymore. I mean, I am in such shock. And he's, messaging me and just, I love you so much. Things are going to get better. I promise I'll be home more. And I'm just kind of placating him, not letting him know I know anything. And I talked to a divorce attorney and have her write up stuff like, all the livestock are mine. I've paid all the money for them. The cattle that we bought while we were engaged, he absolutely never paid me back for. Like, I already had my business going with my sheep. I already had beef cattle. I already had horses. I already had a good foundation started. And I end up reaching out to Rachel at this time. And so we meet up at Starbucks and I sit her down and I said, look, I'm going to be serving him with divorce papers. I don't know where he's going to live. This is the other woman that your daughter is around, and I'm concerned for her. That was very high anxiety. I mean, we're meeting at Starbucks. We've only heard trash about each other for the last, coming on 3 years now. And so it was very high anxiety. It was very awkward. But as we started talking, you can tell both of us were very reserved. We didn't really want to give a ton away, but essentially we wanted to get out a game plan for Taylor. And that was the main purpose of us meeting, is to really get a game plan set for Taylor during this divorce stuff. And then, we proceeded to talk more and more and have since become really good friends. I mean, just horror stories coming from her end too.
And was he, I imagine drinking, gambling, maybe stealing from her.
Oh yeah. She ended up having to go into bankruptcy because she got a car in her name that ended up getting repossessed.
Oh my God.
And open credit cards in her name and stuff. And I'm lucky that I never had a credit card. I only ran off my debit card. I didn't use credit cards. Like, I've always been trying to be very business smart. Yeah. And my mom's even looking in, making sure she's running credit checks on me, like trying to do all of this stuff. And it's insane. And so I'm trying to get all this shit in line so that when he comes back from Christmas, it's ready to go. He ends up coming home like January 1st. And before Ryan came back, my dad ends up going and buying like a $3,000 Chevy Blazer to essentially send him off with.
That is
what?
Very kind.
Because he's driving my pickup.
So he's like, take the car and get the hell out of this town, basically.
And so my dad's like, I'm going to go buy a cheap car so that he has something to drive and he can drive away in, because we don't want him around here.
Yeah.
And we don't want him to drive your nice pickup. And so end up going and having a meeting. And my dad ends up serving him the divorce papers. And he's like, no. Like, you don't understand the situation. I was actually cheating on Rachel with this woman. Oh. And that little girl is also mine. They are 8 months apart. They are both blonde hair, blue eyed, look very similar.
That's Taylor's sister.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I was only up there just trying to figure out and do the DNA test and trying to figure out if she really was mine. And I'm like, there's pictures of you kissing her. He's like, I only ever kissed her. I didn't ever sleep with her. And
Okay,
like,
fella. Sure. Okay.
No.
Doesn't matter. You never told us about this too. Like that alone is enough grounds to be like, what the?
Oh yeah. I'm like, why didn't you talk to me about this? He's like, I was just too ashamed. I didn't know how you would react to it. And it's like, yeah, no. These are pretty much mimicked and copied pictures of our engagement pictures. This is disgusting.
And then is your dad also like, what the hell with
Yeah.
the money? Or is that not even concerned? Because I mean, your safety and marriage is priority, but also who's going to pay the investors back?
So these were all Ryan's connections. So they never met my dad. And so it was all Ryan's promises, all Ryan's connections, all Ryan's investments. And so luckily my parents weren't going to be on the hook for that and got out of the whole investment situation relatively unscathed. So we served Ryan with the divorce papers. And there's actually a couple of security guys that work for my dad with the hemp stuff because he's keeping the hemp building on security detail. And these guys are like MI6.
Oh my God.
Like, there are some cool big dudes.
They're the ones you want to have around when you're serving
Yes,
divorce
absolutely.
papers.
Don't know if things are going to get out of hand, whatever. And so serve him the papers. Like, here you go. Here's the keys to the car. My dad's like, I will give you the title if you just sign these papers. Like, that car is yours if you agree to these papers and we can sign them and, file them. Like, no fighting, nothing. And end up going back to the house so I can grab some clothes and stuff so I can stay at my parents' house. I'm going to allow him to be in our house and kind of get his shit together. And the security guys come with my brother just to kind of make sure that nothing gets out of hand, nothing gets heated, especially since he's already thrown me up against a wall before. And I kind of grab my stuff, a couple things of clothes. Like, I don't think it's going to be that long. I grab my dog and I just kind of leave. I mean, head down low, like, all right. So sheriff comes by later that night to my parents' house. He called the cops saying that we held him at gunpoint and robbed him. That these MI6 guys held him at gunpoint and robbed him. And that I took his guns and stuff. And I was like, no,
fella.
I took the guns that are registered in my name. You have nothing registered in your name. You can have them if you want to register them in your name, but I'm not allowing you to keep anything registered in my name.
And it's hard to steal something
that you don't own.
That's mine.
Like, and my dad's laughing. He's like, yeah, these MI6 guys did not have guns on them and they wouldn't need them.
That's so he held them at gunpoint. They're like,
they didn't have any firearms. Like, the only firearms involved were the ones that Harper took because they were hers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. And the cops laughed him away, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. And so my dad passed a tracker on this little Chevy Blazer and he calls me and my mom and he goes, Ryan's on his way to the courthouse. I think he's probably going to get a restraining order against you. You need to go get what you need out of the house right now because you're not probably going to be able to get back into it.
Sounds good.
Wait, but it's not his house.
It's not his house. But if he has a restraining order against me
and he's in the house
and that's his residence, I can't go to the residence.
Mm-hmm. But the judge would never issue him a restraining order without proof of some kind of like cause, right?
Oh no, he got a restraining order.
What?
He got a restraining order. I'm not allowed to go back to my house.
Oh my God.
And so I'm lucky. I ended up getting all the important documents I needed. So ends up being 3 months in order to get back into the house. And this is my family's property.
And does he ever leave?
Oh yeah, he's not hardly even there because I am not allowed to go to the address via the restraining order. I am not allowed to go on property.
And what did he say to get the restraining order?
I am sure that he sobbed and did a whole sob story thing. And turns out, talking to Rachel, he did this to her too. He got a restraining order against her and cleaned their house out. And with these states, I mean, you can't go into that person's residence. You can't go into the victim's residence. And he played victim.
He did before you did. So then what happened?
Oh my
And
God.
so now, by the time we're able to get back in, there is one mattress and one desk. My whole house is cleaned. It's empty. It looks like it's ready to move in.
Wow.
So he robbed you.
Robbed me clean. Like, I have nothing. All the stuff is gone.
My
Oh my
God.
Everything's gone. And he's up there living with this new girlfriend and her little girl, now up in Colorado, like moved right into her place.
Did you ever think about, or did you reach out to the woman on Facebook?
So, funny thing is, she ends up reaching out to me on April 1st. I thought it was an April Fool's prank. And I actually recorded it because I was like, what is going on? So she says that they took my wedding ring, traded it in, and got her an engagement ring with it.
Did she call us to tell you that?
So she calls to tell me this whole story. He ends up raping her.
Oh.
Kicks her as she's pregnant, kicks her in the gut that night.
Oh my
She
God.
miscarries, locks her in her bedroom overnight, steals her credit cards, and goes on a shopping spree the next day.
Oh my God.
And I've got it on speakerphone. My parents are hearing it. And like, this is something that I can absolutely see because he was sexually abusive to me as well. But rape in a marriage is so hard to prove.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
And she says, no, you know that miscarriage you had and that coffee he got you?
No.
He put
I don't wanna
cattle
know.
drugs in it. And he was bragging about how he did not want to be with you and did not want to have a child with you. And he was bragging up here about how he caused that.
I can't. I'm
in shock.
Because obvious, I mean, we've got the drugs just sitting in the house because this is how we maintain our cattle. And sometimes you need...
What kind of cattle drug? Like what, like, not to give anybody any ideas, but like what?
So there's a couple of different synthetic hormones that you can use to help to progress a labor.
Oh my
When
God.
labors get kind of stuck, you can help with milk production, or you can actually cause an abortion in like young animals that are too young to breed.
Oh my God.
And so, I mean, like
evil.
I said, I've got access to it. Like, they're sitting on the fridge. And so, yeah, she's like, nope, it was in your coffee. Like, he said he caused it.
And she's calling you at this point on the other side of her experience with him now? Like, she's saying,
yeah,
this is
she's on the other side. She's like, look, I'm trying to get a protection order from him. And he had told her that I was the ex-wife and that we were living together in order to essentially share on this hemp profits. And then he was going to leave, and that I was too unstable and he was worried about my mental health and that he needed to be there to kind of watch out for me, even though I was his ex. And so that's why they had been dating since July.
Oh my God.
My ex is crazy.
Yep.
And
my ex is
my
crazy.
ex is crazy. So moving forward, I'm finding out all sorts of shit. So that little boy was actually his.
Shocker.
Yep, little boy's his. So now we're up to 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
3 kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 kids now.
2 of whom he denied.
Yeah, 2 of whom
that were his.
He's cut out of his life. He only has access to the little girl with Rachel, which is Taylor. And Rachel and I start talking a lot more. I mean, kind of comparing stories.
Good.
Like, this is kind of insane. I mean,
and you two know you can like. Unfortunately, the only 2 people that
we can relate to each
other's experience,
right? And so she, over this time, so I'm still going through the divorce stuff. He's fighting. He wants everything I own. He actually brings my parents into the divorce and is asking for $1.5 million.
Dollars.
Yeah, he wants $1.5 million because he thinks he's entitled to it from this hemp crop.
So what happened?
But can you prove any of the the gambling?
This was 2017. I did not get divorced until the fall of 2019.
Oh God.
Because he drug it on for so long and postponed so long that actually the judge, when she ruled, it was a 3-day trial. A 3-day divorce trial. Because I had to bring in so many freaking witnesses in order to just yes, I've owned my sheep my whole life. Yes, I run all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge said, look, sir, you gambled and you lost.
Busted.
Oh.
You gambled and you lost. And actually, Harper is getting her attorney fees because you took so long, and it shows in all of this that you took so long and drug this on just to make the bills higher. And my attorney in her 30 years had never seen a divorce case where somebody was awarded all the funds.
And you got everything.
That makes me so happy.
And yeah, I think I had to split one cow with him.
Split a cow?
I had to sell it and then split the money with him.
And split the...
I'm such a literal... I was like, who gets the head? What do you do?
I know which side. Oh,
no, you get the right side. I get the left side. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't think about splitting him that way.
So I'm like, here's your $600. Now give me my $50,000 back.
Bless it.
Never saw a dime.
Did he pay?
Nope, never saw a dime.
Of course.
But it's good that the judgment is there at least.
He still doesn't have a bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the judgment was that basically I didn't know anything about the investments. It was all his, so that's all his debt.
Good.
And during this time, Rachel's getting phone calls every time a girlfriend breaks up with him.
So what do we do? What do we, I'm like, how do we get him caught?
Yeah, there's not much to do. I mean, turns out he was also caught for doing cocaine. So he was on cocaine our entire relationship. So, I mean, he's doing drugs, he's drinking, he's gambling, he's got all the freaking things. And so now we jump to, 2021.
SpaghettiOs.
Yep. A woman ends up breaking up with him. She's in the middle of trying to buy a house.
Oh, no.
And he is the one who introduced his girlfriend to the woman who owns the house, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I went to high school with this gal. She's got a house for sale. So he kind of did the connections. Well, she broke up with him. He went and burned her house down.
Burned her house down?
He burned this woman's house down. Luckily, she and her daughter were out at the movies, and they were able to get the animals out. But I guess he walked through the house with a can of gasoline. And if you've ever lit gasoline on fire, the more it fumes, the more it's a bigger explosion.
Yeah, this guy is a freaking... He's a fucking crazy pants. Who is this guy? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. As Rachel and I are talking, we're like, are you freaking kidding me? When is he going to murder somebody?
Yeah, that's where it's headed.
Well, that's the thing. I'm just hoping he gets caught for this one because this one's hard. This one's easier to prove.
Yeah, and they don't. You know what they say? They don't put up a red light until someone crashes through it and dies. They're not going to do anything to him until he does something so extreme, and that's what sucks.
Yeah, and there's witnesses seeing his truck drive away. But yeah, no, he blew this house up, and he went on the run for 6 weeks. Dropped all contact with Taylor.
Now he's a fugitive.
Yeah, he's a fugitive. He goes out, and he is way on the other side of freaking Denver. He applies for a job with his real name. The guy recognizes him from the news and calls him in.
What an idiot!
Calls him in, so he goes to jail. He gets bailed out. His mom bails him out.
Because of course she does, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, because mommy is just believing all of his bullshit. Bails him out, and DA's got an open and shut case against him. They're saying he's at minimum of 7 years, looking at closer to 15 for this.
So did they find a little trial?
No. So this spring...
Our faces right now, we both are just like, what?
January 1, of this year, so January 1, 24, they found him overdosed.
He died.
He died.
Well, it's not very Christian of me to say he deserved it, so I won't say that. So
Oh my
sorry.
God.
I'm so sorry that to his family that he is passed. It's sad that they had to, you know.
Well, yeah, everything he's done.
Oh my gosh. But I mean,
He's-
just a complete crazy. I think the weeks after I served him divorce papers, I was finding out so much that I had a number of people calling me every week because they're like, what's the latest on your soap opera?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he thought he was in like a, I don't know, action movie. Like,
so
he's on the run, blowing up houses.
Well, and we go back, 50 cows never existed. His other,
Wow.
Yeah, what? He never owned them. He was just pointing out other people's cows.
Oh, that one's mine. And look, this fella is mine too. Moo.
Yep. He was just pointing out other people's cows. He never owned a house up there. He never was a partner in the construction company. He only worked for them. And when
whose house were you in when you saw the kids' room?
He was just a rental his mommy was paying for.
Yeah. Okay.
The PBR thing, never rode bulls.
He was full of bullshit.
Yep. He only
That's
ever
my
rode a
second
bull.
bullshit joke.
Bullshit.
He only ever rode a bull once, and he broke his ankle.
And it was a mechanical bull.
Oh, it was actually a real bull because
no, I'm just kidding.
I kept the rodeo stock for a few years and actually was bucking bulls and got hooked up with some people. And one of the guys that we went into his big practice arena, turns out Ryan broke his ankle in that practice arena. And they're like, oh yeah, we know him. He got on for like 3 seconds and broke his ankle.
What a dumbass.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's who I was married to.
That tracks.
Yeah, that tracks. That freaking tracks.
But he would actually go out and buy used stuff from like garage sales, like buckles or jackets, in order to sell his story to people.
What?
That he was a professional.
Crazy pants. Bullshit.
Yeah. So everything was a lie. I mean, most of his stories, he would actually take other people's stories and then just put his life into them.
Well, that's a good liar.
That's a good liar because that's what you do. That's what I do as a PI. Sometimes they'll be like, what's your dog look like? And I describe one of my dogs. Like, that's
exactly what he would do. Is he would
to the truth.
Take other people's stories and throw himself into it. I fully believe he was a sociopath. Like, no emotion, would laugh at you when you cry. I mean, that completely would mimic what you wanted, what you dreamed. I mean, turn into a chameleon. He turned into what you wanted.
Did we ever find out why he was so obsessed with this fella and his broken foot?
No, this a weird, random, out of the blue thing.
Maybe he and Tommy had a little.
Knowing Tommy, no. The Tommy situation was just the first time he showed me who he really is. It was him kind of pulling up that mask of what life was going to be like after we got married. And I just didn't realize that that was the red flag that it was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How are you?
I am doing significantly better. I mean, one of these days might have to tell you the story after him, because I ended up dating a man who is actually the father of my 2-year-old.
Oh.
My 2-year-old little girl. And I definitely went from extreme to still abusive and had to learn what red flags were and learn basically not to compare. Like, okay, well, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. Because I didn't have a lot of dating experience.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's at the bar in in hell.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
so
I'm used to living in a completely different world. And so anything is a dream man compared to him.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so,
that's terrible.
That's so hard and so real.
Yeah, Ryan's such an extreme.
He made you believe you.
But now I am dating a man I have been friends with for 8 years.
Oh, yay!
Is it Tommy?
No, not Tommy. Tommy's married with 2 little boys. We're still good friends, but We ended up buying 25 acres together, and he owns his own ag business.
Did you meet him on Farmers
A
Only?
tractor doctor.
I did not, thank goodness.
Praise the lamb.
You were friends first, which is nice because you know him and have people that can verify him. And
So
well, because she's been
his
friends with him forever, so that's
background.
amazing.
Right.
So yeah, we've been together almost 2 years now, and like I said, bought a house and have a little boy on the way.
Yeah, she's
Congratulations!
Oh, and how's your family doing? Your parents, like after all of this and
good. Yeah, no, they're
the
good.
shit they put him through.
They're just like, nope, you definitely grew up in your early 20s. Like, you have been through hell and back. And I mean, my faith in God just became even stronger being able to survive that.
Amen, girl. That's crazy. Oh my God. That just makes me so mad though. Like, it makes me mad that you even had to endure, like, what a mind, like,
one of those things, let alone any of them.
Right. Well, and
like,
Taylor's 11 now.
Wow.
Yeah, how's Taylor and Rachel?
Awesome. They're awesome. Rachel's got a really good, solid relationship.
But you stayed close with her, which is
I love
really
that. Yeah.
special.
I love that so much.
Like I said, Rachel and I are still really good friends. Taylor is out showing sheep, and I give her lamb projects every year. And I mean, this kid wins buckles. Like, she wins shows.
Unlike her half-assed daddy.
Yeah, she's got her own buckles.
Wow. Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I feel so mad, but also like I feel like it feels like you're in such a good place right now. Like, I can't be mad, but gosh, how crazy.
I've definitely done a lot of growing up and a lot of learning, and I know what red flags and green flags are.
I'm trying to we've been trying to do a little bit more clear of a dating detective's debrief after the stories, where we kind of look at them and are just like, all right, what can we how can we empower ourselves after hearing this horrible thing? And the amnesia part is so specific and unique, but just taking advantage of somebody that's vulnerable. Yeah. Like, he was going to do this to you because he did it to Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, he did it to multiple women, but he had the opportunity with me because I was in such a vulnerable state, and I had to really trust and rely on him, and he took full advantage of that. I mean,
and everything he did was were classic red flags, like the isolation and the manipulation and the gaslighting. Every single thing that he did was like a perfect example of like an abuser. That's exactly all of them.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he would make fun of me if we were out in public. So he would do the dog whistling even. And if you haven't heard that phrase, that's where it's so like a scenario. If you're being criticized for not having your house super clean at home, and then you go over to somebody else's house and that person goes, well, look, honey, look how clean their house is. Isn't this great?
Why couldn't you do that?
And it's something that only you know is a dig on you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's dog whistling.
Wow.
Yep. I know. That's exactly it. It just makes you feel like shit because now you feel like, oh, he's right. Like, I'm not like good like this or whatever. And then it has you comparing yourself to everyone else, thinking like, oh, I guess I should have done this better or whatever. It's awful.
Oh, yeah. So now you're sitting there feeling miserable the whole freaking time because you're being made fun of. Nobody else knows you're being made fun of.
I've never heard of that phrase. Thank you for that one, because I think that's like light bulb.
I absolutely love therapy for this because this is all the things that I've since learned. And
putting a name to things helps you identify it more easily also, because once you put a name to it, now it's real and now you can identify it more properly.
It's also not just you. When something has like a name or some like resources to talk about something, then you're like, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only person experiencing this. Other people have thought this.
Well, and something that both Ryan and my other ex did is reactive abuse. So they sit there and they pick on you and they pick on you and pick on you until you blow up.
Yep.
And then they sit back and they go, well, see, you're the crazy one.
Well, that's like I was talking earlier and I was saying it's just like someone saying, oh my God, you're so stupid. You're so mean. You're so this. You're so that. You're so dumb. You're so whatever. And finally they go, oh my God, shut up. And that's what everyone hears is the, oh my God, shut up. And they're like, oh my God, she's crazy. But they don't hear the person that's in your ear picking on you. Like I was using a brother and sister example. My brother would pick on me and just real quietly. And then I'd go, stop. And I would be the one who got in trouble because everyone heard me fussing. You don't realize that these people, they're reacting to this abusive behavior, but it's just quiet. The abuse is quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's harder to prove that somebody was annoying you or that somebody was subtly criticizing you. It's easy to prove that someone punched you.
You can't see everything behind closed doors. I mean, my biggest thing is if somebody seems perfect, run the other direction because nobody is perfect. They are
the other way
faking
fast.
something.
Yeah.
And manipulators like this to this level will wait until you are engaged, until you are married, until you are pregnant, until they have got you so tied down you can't leave. What I have been told is the analogy of we see a wedding as a start of our life. They see it as the end goal.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, they see it as the finish line. Like, now I can finally...
Now I got her.
Or quit faking all this thing. Like, I can finally be my true self now.
And everything that's hers is mine. And she's mine.
So they want to get their names on stuff. They want to get you pregnant. They want to get engaged. They want to...
intertwine themselves in you.
Yeah, they want to be a very active part of your life and have ownership of you, essentially.
Crazy. Man, thank you so much for sharing this. Man, a total dogfish from the beginning. And then like, how did you feel hearing about his passing?
It really didn't affect me, honestly. Like, I think the biggest relief was that Taylor will never have to deal with him again. He's been so...
And it sounds like at this point, it's not surprising. Yeah. Like every time you hear something about him, you're like,
oh, yeah.
It's just another...
We were always waiting for something, constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. Actually, Taylor kind of laughs because in a little bit of a morbid way, she's like, yep, he's done more for me now dead than he ever has alive because now I get dead dad money.
That girl is going to be very...
Oh, she's a spitfire.
And nobody's burning down her house, so...
No, I hate that it happened to her, but she's...
It sounds like she's taking it like a really strong young lady.
Yeah.
If she wants to get into stand-up when she's older, you tell her to call me.
Right.
100%.
We can process that on stage because that's what we do. We should go to therapy too.
Right? Yeah.
But then we can write jokes about it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This kid, she's a spitfire. I mean, I freaking adore her. And she still introduces me. I'm her second mom.
Oh, like, people I love that.
Oh. Yeah. They're like, is this your aunt? And she's like, no, this is my other mom. Like, I've got two moms.
I love that so much. That is really cool that she regards you. Like, that's a privilege when a kid wants to call you their parent, you know? So she must think really highly of you. That's amazing.
And she's going to be a good big sis to the new baby. And I'm sure to your other little boy, right? I have a
2-year-old little girl. And then this little baby
girl. And this is
a little boy. Yeah. She is awesome. She was actually mad at me when I first got pregnant because she was no longer the only one.
Yep. Bless her heart. Aww. Well, thank you again so much. I want to hear updates on your relationship too. You'll have to let us know how it's going.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure being on.
So yeah, he's gone. He died. He's dead. He died. Sorry, fella.
Oh yeah.
That was a lot.
So we want to do a dogfish debrief, things we take away from the story. But of course, there's like an element of this where by the time she not only had amnesia, but was also married to him, she was in so deep that he was able to control her in a way that, one, I'm sure wouldn't have been as easy if she wasn't so vulnerable with literal amnesia. But also, it's like, I don't want anything to come off as us being like, well, if you follow these lessons, this won't happen to you, because it's like, it's not her fault. Like, it's his fault.
Yeah.
We're just pointing out the tools he used to be evil.
Yeah. And these potential red flags to look out for. And it's not, obviously there's not a one size fits all, but definitely the control thing and these, just all the red flags, like the whole not allowed thing kills me. Like, she wasn't not allowed to lock the door. She said
when
it wasn't
he came
allowed.
in the shower.
Yeah, not allowed to do these
God.
things. I'm sorry, not allowed. Like, she's not allowed privacy. Like, that's not okay. Like, not allowed is not okay.
This is the kind of thing where it's like, if you're a friend to somebody in a relationship like this and you notice this type of controlling behavior, that's a red flag for the friend on the outside.
Yes.
The only thing we could do is have our people close. And even then it's hard, but we gotta stay close and protect each other. Also, can I talk about the way she described dog whistling? Because I thought that was really interesting.
Let's talk about that.
So we'd heard of dog whistling in other like political senses, but in the case of a relationship, she kind of used it to describe when a partner sets you up in public like the example, I think he was in public and kind of made a comment that seemed positive, seemed normal to the outside, where he's just like, isn't it nice that they do XYZ? But inside, that's a reference to a conflict you've been having behind closed doors, and it's a dig at you.
Yes.
Man, that is so real.
It really does happen. It's just a form of manipulation, right? It's another form of manipulation and control, and they're trying to manipulate your feelings, because we've talked about
and make you feel small.
Yeah, exactly. Making you feel small.
I think also it's one of those things where you feel like you can't criticize them for doing it, because if you say something, they'll be like, what are you talking about? I didn't say anything. I just complimented them. Like, you're making this up. So and
then it's gaslighting.
You're not alone. If this brought anything up for you, we're here for you. Because I feel like this is the kind of thing that I would not even identify if it was happening to me.
And the whole miscarriage thing really hurt my feelings. Like, that's so shitty. I'm sorry.
Wait, and the fact that he like bragged about it, and he did that cycle of telling each person he was with that the past ex was crazy.
Yeah. Another red flag when they always talk about their ex being crazy. Red flag.
Red flag. That's
Someone's
a
deflecting.
Classic. That's a classic. And then I also have that the money disappeared. So that's
and the thing with that is, I still feel like, just like last week we were talking about with the money disappearing, it's like, at what point do you trust them enough? Like, are you your fiancés now? So if you're fiancés now,
or
then
married.
You're at a point where you can trust them now that you're getting married. So, I can't blame her for giving giving him the money, but also, where did the money go? And then she, this is someone that you trust because you're getting married. So that's hard. That's a fine line.
Money is so tough. I want to tell me if you guys would be interested in this. I just feel like it would be fun to do a Patreon episode or something about like the money conversation that you should have at different stages in your relationship.
That's so smart.
Yeah, right. I've listened to podcast episodes that talk about it, but never with the angle of like, and here are red flags that could come up in those conversations. Like, here are the things that could come up that should make you worry that they might be trying to steal from you or fraud you or just take advantage of you.
And how to protect yourself financially, and like what you can set up, like things that you can set up individually to kind of protect yourself, and how you can manage that.
How you can be
like,
a team
even while you're in a relationship
and be independent. Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah.
Man, thank you so much, Harper. She was so sweet too and deserves all the best. And last thing. How much do you love that she has such a good relationship with Taylor?
I really do love that. And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. So I feel like I know what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who has kids, and then the relationship ends, and then you still, like, that person was still part of you. Like, you still love that child. And so that's, I'm glad that they have that relationship, and I'm glad that she's become like a positive role model to her. And it's really cool that she still calls her bonus daughter. Like, I really love that so much.
This is another case of, weirdly, dogfish tend to have really good taste and date really nice people who often become friends. And I don't know what it is, but they've got good taste. And both of those women seemed very strong, and Taylor's very lucky at the end of the day.
Yeah. She's a lucky girl. I agree with that.
We love you, Taylor.
Woo!
We love all of you. And we love all of you listening.
Thank you so much, Harper, for sharing your story. Every time we have a guest that comes on and shares their story, to use our platform to share their story is really an honor for us. So thank you so much for allowing us to be a voice for you and using our platform to use your own voice. So we really appreciate that so much.
And we totally hear you when you wish we could do more episodes, and we want to. It's a work in progress. That's why we have our Patreon. So thank you so much for supporting the Patreon. That's why we run some ads. Those are just like how we're able to bring these stories to you. And we don't do ads if we don't love the stuff. So just know that. And all the info for ads is in the show notes, and Patreon's in the show notes, and all our social Dating Detectives podcast. And then you can email us. I was going to see if
Don't look at me. Do it yourself. She looked at me like, I must say it. You got
one of these days. Okay. Investigate at thedatingdetectivespodcast.com. Hit us with your stories. Hit us with your love stories. Also coming up on Patreon. Someone sent me a love story. And they were just
you guys got to hear that. Oh my God. Hannah's eyes
not
got
like
big
about
as saucers.
That sounds like they sent me a love letter.
Were sharing
their story.
They were sharing a love story, but they know how much Hannah loves love stories. And so Hannah, she saw it said a love story for Hannah or something. Her eyes got big as saucers and she was so excited. So
I was afraid it was going to be like an April Fool's joke and they were going to be like, love,
me
love.
too,
just
because
kidding.
I trust no one. Like I was like, yeah, right. Like, no, I don't trust you.
No, they just wanted us
to be like
to
the opposite.
Have one diamond in the rough. Love is real. Don't worry. Go to Patreon if you need to remind yourself that.
I love it.
And I love you, Mackenzie. This was a really good one. And it's such a joy to do these stories with you. I just love getting to tell them with you.
Samesies. Ditto to you. I love you so much. And Molly, we love you too. Molly's behind the scenes, so y'all don't see her a lot, but
she's the Wizard of Oz.
She's the brains. And so somebody said on the thing on one of the, I think it was on the Patreon, maybe they were like, if you have to do more episodes a week, like if people are getting legit mad that there's not
Molly
more.
Molly got hives when you said that.
Let me tell you how excited that makes me that like we are in demand. So thank you so much. But just know that we want to, I just want to sit here all day and tell stories, but that don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So
as soon as we get more money,
y'all to hang in there.
But send us your stories because that helps too. We love you.
And thank you for the support. Like everyone who supports us, that really helps. So make sure you're just sharing our podcast on your socials and tag us, connect with us. Like you just chat with us. It really, everything, helps us to grow. And so we can do more for you to serve you better. So thank you so much.
Love you guys. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Bye, Hannah. And you guys, trust your femme intuition.